tour of the monument.
Depois da deposição da coroa de flores, seus excelências chefes de Estado vão fazer uma visita guiada ao monumento.
And the monument has got 3 obelisks in the houses that were attacked in 1981.
Existem 3 obeliscos vermelhos que representam cada uma das casas que foram atacadas.
And it also has pillars that represent the frontline states.
E temos ainda pilares que representam cada um dos países da linha de frente.
They also represent other countries of our region.
E representam também outros países da região austral,
as well as other acts and atrocities that were committed.
como também outros atos que foram cometidos.
The presidents will now visit the interpretive center,
Os chefes de Estado vão agora visitar o centro de interpretação,
where they will cut the ribbon
onde procederão ao corte da fita
and also make a tour inside the interpretive center.
e fazer uma visita guiada ao mesmo centro.
Moçambique, 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 minha pátria. Moçambique, Moçambique.
Mas lá no palco já está o grupo de Matola, paz no mundo.
While the presidents visit the interpretive center, we will have an entertainment from a Makwayela group.
Moçambique, 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 minha pátria. Moçambique, Moçambique.
They need to call, don't call her now. Let them call me back first. But for now, the minister is here. Hello, Tobet, please call me now. I have the Minister of Defense. Call me now. I have the Minister of Defense. Thanks. Military soldiers who came under attack. Hello? The network is killing us. Network is very bad. It's not going through. AM is much better. Plus 27 11 714 7375. Iyakhatha Shem. Hello. Hi guys, Mamela. Hi, Johan. You need to call me back, please. We have the minister. Okay, call me on this number. Let me on this other number. 082
99
99
00
00
407
407 08
082
082
99
99
00
00
407
082
99
Is the line bad? 082
99
99
00
00
407
4
0
407. 407.
Let me move away.
Yes. Yes, you can do that. Just call me urgently. The minister is right next to me, please. Oh, is that so? What time then? Until 2. Yes? Line bed, ma'am. Line bed, yes. Okay, Sakulan. Okay, Makulan, guys, it's about that time because you can't hear me. Right, the line is bed. Okay, what time?
I don't know what time you should go on stage. Because I'm going to tell you when the program starts.
Yeah?
Not well.
Yes? What are you expecting Yeah? How is 7025 is troublesome?
27 nalokhu.
Sorry, Tabela, you're gonna. Hello? Hi, guys. You need to come to us yeah? That's 24 hours. Hello? Hello, Hakamile. Yeah, Hakamile, you need to come to me now. Namamela, on this number, the one that I'm on at the moment. Hold on, let me give you the number. 082 No, but I'm giving you the number. 082 082 99 00 407. event at the moment. Okay? We can just talk a bit. I'll get the minister. 082 Okay, let's get them on the line first, then we call the minister. I'm not taking that chance again. Can you position, comrade? Officer is Let's just position themselves. They will call me now, and then when they call me, then Utoy will bring the minister. I'll just talk until she brings the minister. Abaqale ba phone andifuni lo drama. Line up Ababantu very Okay, let's get them first. Let's make sure. Hello? Go and leave Asana. Hello? Yes, hi. Okay, listen. Well, a very good afternoon to you once again. We're coming to you live from the Matola Unveiling here, where President Jacob Zuma, together with his Mozambican counterpart, Philip Nyusi, has just arrived here. And at the moment, they're actually at an educational center where those who perhaps want to learn about the Matola raid of 1981 will be able to go and do so at a center that is also being unveiled here this afternoon. Just a few minutes ago, President Jacob Zuma also laid some wreaths here at the monument as well, basically paying tribute to those who were killed in 1981. But certainly, what would all of this be without speaking to the Defense Minister, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, about the events unfolding here today? Minister, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Certainly a very significant day for South Africa. Significant, two countries coming together again to cement these relations, to remember those who died in this country back in 1981.
Well, I think what this teaches us today is that South Africans should never forget where they come from. The only way in which you can know where you're going is for you to always remember where you're coming. I was just looking at the memorial and I was reading it. And it says the time comes in the life of a man where there remains two choices, to fight or submit. And I'm saying that time had come in the lives of South African people where people decided they were going to take arms to liberate themselves. And of course, the racist regime at the time decided to meet that kind of strategy with violence. They went around actually in the frontline states here, in countries such as Mozambique, Swaziland, Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, where they murdered and maimed South Africans. But those South Africans lived amongst communities. They also went on to kill, murder, maim women and children, men and children who were citizens of those countries. And this, for me, is something, this unveiling should remind us. I know that some people tend to say you are nostalgic, some people tend to say you're taking us backwards, but actually always remember your history. Keep in mind, teach your children where we come from. For me, to honor these comrades today is one of those magnificent and very humbling experiences, because these are comrades who were killed in their sleep. And here today, we also have survivors of that massacre. We have Mulelo Musi, for instance. We have a comrade called Madiba, who was one of Baba Madiba's bodyguards. He is also here. And I know that when it happened on that day, he's the one who picked up the phone and called the current president of the Republic of South Africa and the president of the African National Congress. So here you have now a combination of military veterans and veterans of the struggle of South Africa, together with Mozambicans who were there at the worst of time when it was not fashionable to give support to the African National Congress, but they sacrificed their own lives in order for us to be free in South Africa. So Mozambique was a very important strategic area which was used, because it was a frontline state, as a front line to fight the racist regime. But of course they responded in the manner in which they did, regrettably so, because now finally they were forced to negotiate with the South African people.
Minister, you speak about these frontline states, and certainly those who open. I mean, these are countries that also bore the brunt of the apartheid regime, and that they too were attacked. We've got the Lesotho raid, we have got numerous attacks that took place in Zimbabwe because of the assistance that they were giving to South Africa. So how do we then as a country move forward and say that South Africa, this democracy that we've achieved, was not fought solely by its people, but many other countries or people across the borders, those who were in exile in a land which they perhaps did not want to be in, but were forced to be there.
It is for that reason that we always say, South Africans, you cannot afford to be xenophobic. South Africans, xenophobia does not belong to us, because we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't have acquired our freedom if the people of those countries had not opened their doors and allowed us to live with them side by side, fully appreciating the consequences of that. And of course, as I was counting the frontline states,
certainly saying that South Africa does owe quite a great deal to these frontline states that fought together with South Africa against the racist regime. Certainly what we're expecting now, President Jacob Zuma as well as his Mozambican counterpart Philip Nyusi are still inside the educational center at this point, the interpretive center as they call it, where you're able to go inside and get a lot of knowledge about what happened back in 1981 during the Matola raid. What will then happen after that is that they will emerge from the interpretive center, they will go to the podium and then the official events. In fact, just to bring you up to speed, looking towards my right, President Jacob Zuma as well as his Mozambican counterpart Philip Nyusi are just about coming out from the interpretive center at this moment. not on your screen at the moment, but both President Jacob Zuma as well as Philip Nyusi are making their way from the interpretive center to the podium where the official proceedings will get underway. And certainly what is likely at this point is that President Jacob Zuma will make reference to these countries that assisted South Africa during difficult times, not just reference to the Matola raid, but also reference to many of the other raids on the continent, those who bore the brunt of the challenges or the attacks that the apartheid regime had leveled against the people in those countries on the simple basis that they were assisting South Africa trying to get rid of the apartheid regime at that time. So in the next few minutes we're expecting President Jacob Zuma to take to the podium and together with his Mozambican counterpart. And certainly what one should also remember is the moving tribute as well that O.R. Tambo had also given during the first anniversary of the Matola raid. This was in 1982. Certainly moving at this stage, relating to President Zuma. Just to bring you up to speed once again, I will apologize there as events are unfolding here at the moment. We're trying to monitor from the different directions where President Zuma and President Nyusi are just about making their way onto the podium at the moment. The official proceedings are going to get underway at the moment. As you can hear, the introductions of both of the presidents of South Africa and Mozambique as well, taking to the podium now. Official proceedings are about to get underway. It will be very interesting to hear what President Jacob Zuma will say relating to South Africa's hard-fought freedom, those who were very instrumental in assisting South Africa. We see the Defense Minister also taking to the podium there as well, and who we just spoke to a few minutes ago. We see the Arts and Culture Minister, and Natim Tetwa as well. Very historic also, because we're looking at this as Heritage Month. Heritage Month in honoring these people who made this indelible contribution. Some of the survivors of the 1981 Matola raid are also here today. We really hope to get a chance to speak to them just a little bit later on as well. Just some of the other people who are also here this afternoon is the MEC of Arts and Culture in the Eastern Cape, Phemima Jordina. She is here as well. We also saw Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, as well as Minister Lindiwe Zulu, as well. Just some of the dignitaries that are here this afternoon. If you've just joined us, you're watching a special broadcast. We're coming to you live from Matola in Mozambique, where this will be the unveiling of the Matola monument. For those who don't recall, you remember back in 1981 when the apartheid forces stormed on 3 safe houses, killing some South Africans as well as one Mozambican national. The Mozambican national who was killed at the time was an engineer in this part of the country, and certainly this is also significant the long-standing bond there has been between Mozambique and South Africa. Of course, you will know that the African National Congress as well as the Frelimo Party have long been sister liberation movements fighting against colonialism in the trenches in South Africa and also other side the borders. So great significance today will be given to all those who contributed, not just those who died during the Matola raid, but a lot of reference certainly will be placed on these countries that assisted South Africa. Well, the interpretive center that President Jacob Zuma had just emerged from is an interpretive center, one would say.
Da Matola tem o privilégio de testemunhar a inauguração deste monumento, aguardado com bastante expectativa pelos munícipes desta cidade. Hoje, neste local, recordamos mais pela causa da liberdade e da autodeterminação dos povos. Dessa história, que foi trágica para cidadãos moçambicanos e sul-africanos, resultou este monumento uma obra de dimensão mundial. A nós, como matolenses, cabe garantir que o esforço comum empreendido pelo Estado moçambicano e pelo Estado sul-africano seja preservado. Cabe, sobretudo, garantir a utilidade educativa deste monumento, ensinando às nossas crianças e jovens o significado histórico e cultural do mesmo, bem como garantir efetivamente que este lugar seja um ponto turístico de referência na cidade da Matola. Excelências, a cidade da Matola e os matolenses agradecem. Gostaria de desejar a todos uma boa e confortável estadia nesta cidade. A todos o nosso muito obrigado.
Honored guests and your excellencies,
distintos convidados e vossas excelências,
it is now my honor to invite the President of the Republic of Mozambique, President Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, to deliver his speech.
convido agora, com subida hora, o Presidente da República de Moçambique, Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, para proferir o seu discurso.
Sua Excelência Jacob Zuma,
Your
Presidente
Excellency
da República de África do Sul.
Jacob Zuma, President of the Republic of South Africa.
Sua Excelência Joaquim Alberto Chissano, antigo Presidente da República de Moçambique.
Your Excellency President Joaquim Chissano, former President of the Republic of Mozambique.
Senhor Primeiro-Ministro,
Right Honorable Prime Minister,
Venerando Presidente do Tribunal Administrativo,
Your Honor, the Chief Justice,
Venerando Presidente do Conselho Constitucional,
Your Honor, the Chief of the Constitutional Council,
Digníssimo Provedor da Justiça,
the Honorable Promoter,
senhores membros do Governo da República da África do Sul e do Governo da República de Moçambique,
Honorable members of the Government of the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Mozambique,
senhores deputados da Assembleia da República,
Honorable members of Parliament of the National Assembly,
senhor Governador da Província de Maputo,
the Governor of the Maputo Province,
senhor Presidente do Conselho Municipal da cidade de Matola,
Your Worship, the Mayor of the Matola Municipality,
senhores representantes de partidos políticos aqui presentes,
distinguished representative of political parties here present,
senhores membros do Corpo Diplomático acreditados em
Your
Maputo,
Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps accredited to the Republic of Mozambique,
caros moçambicanos e sul-africanos,
dear Mozambicans and South Africans,
caros familiares dos mártires da luta contra o regime do apartheid,
relatives of the martyrs of the struggle against the apartheid regime,
ilustres convidados,
distinguished invited guests,
queridas crianças da República de Moçambique,
dear children of the Republic of Mozambique,
minhas senhoras e meus senhores.
ladies and gentlemen.
Obrigado, crianças do meu país.
Thank you very much, children of my country.
É com viva emoção e sentimento de profunda alegria que acolhemos neste município de Matola Sua Excelência o Presidente Jacob Zuma, por ocasião da inauguração deste monumento e do Centro de Interpretação erguidos em homenagem aos mártires do ataque do apartheid.
It is with vivid emotion and sense of profound joy that we host in this Matola municipality His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, his distinguished president, members of his delegation, on the occasion of the inauguration of the monument and the interpreting center of Matola.
Isto simboliza a irmandade e solidariedade que sempre caracterizaram a relação entre os povos moçambicanos e sul-africanos.
This symbolizes the brotherhood and solidarity that has always characterized the relationship between the Mozambican and South African peoples.
A visita de Vossa Excelência ao nosso país, e em especial à cidade de Matola, vem dar sequência a um desejo antigo dos nossos governos e aos entendimentos alcançados na sua recente visita a Moçambique em maio do corrente ano, de eternizar a luta heroica dos nossos povos.
Your visit to our country, and in particular to Matola city, follows an old desire by our governments and understandings reached in your recent visit to Mozambique in May this year, that we should eternalize the heroic struggle of our peoples.
Queremos, pois, caro Presidente, desejar boas-vindas e feliz regresso a casa, por quanto esta cidade transporta para parte significativa do histórico e nostálgico legado de engajamento dos nossos dois povos na luta contra o colonialismo e o racismo.
Therefore, we wish, dear President, to happily welcome you back home, as this city carries a significant part of the historical and nostalgic legacy of the engagement of our two peoples to the struggle against colonialism and racism.
Caros convidados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores,
distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen,
foi neste lugar que no fatídico dia 30 a 31 de janeiro de 1981, o regime de apartheid mais uma vez escolheu mostrar a sua verdadeira face cruel e desumana, contrariando todas as regras elementares de convívio no conceito das nações.
It was in this place where on the fatidic 30th January 1981, the apartheid regime once again chose to show its gruesome and inhuman face by violating all basic rules of statehood in the concept of nations.
Foi uma clara afronta à nossa integridade territorial, soberania, à nossa paz e todas as formas de direitos humanos.
It was a clear insult to our sovereignty, a violation of our territorial integrity, our peace and all forms of human rights.
Vitimou pessoas inocentes, destruiu residências, escolas, unidades produtivas e sociais.
Innocent people were victimized, residences, schools, productive and social facilities were destroyed.
Esta obra que inauguramos emana do imaginário coletivo dos nossos povos, que é também uma das formas de celebração da nossa irmandade e solidariedade.
This work we are inaugurating emanates from the collective imagination of our peoples, which is also another way of celebrating our brotherhood and sisterhood, solidarity and cooperation.
Este monumento é dos maiores símbolos que sintetiza o nosso percurso da luta contra os regimes coloniais e racistas.
This monument is one of the major symbols that synthesize our journey in the struggle against colonial and racist regimes.
Imortaliza os feitos de homens e mulheres que escreveram com o sacrifício das suas próprias vidas as páginas mais nobres da nossa história comum.
And it immortalizes the deeds of men and women who have written with the sacrifice of their own lives these most noble pages of our common heritage.
O monumento cristaliza a nossa essência existencial, definindo a nossa identidade comum, através do nosso labor, dos nossos casamentos, das nossas lutas pela paz e progresso e bem-estar.
The monument indeed crystallizes our existential essence by defining our common identity through our labor, our marriage, strive for peace, progress and welfare for our people.
Minhas senhoras, meus senhores ilustres convidados, o regime colonial português e do apartheid tentaram sem sucesso destruir a convivência salutar entre os nossos dois povos.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished invited guests, the Portuguese colonial regime and the apartheid regime attempted without success to destroy our centuries-long and healthy bonds between our two peoples.
Tentaram minar a dignidade e as relações socioculturais que desde sempre nos caracterizaram.
They tried to defile our dignity and undermine the social and cultural relations that have always characterized us.
As fronteiras artificiais e administrativas impostas pelos impérios, bem como a nossa diversidade etnocultural, foram ampla e profundamente exploradas por este regime como instrumentos de divisão e confrontação entre nós.
The artificial and administrative boundaries imposed on us by these empires, as well as our ethno-cultural diversity, were broadly and deeply exploited by these regimes as instruments for division and confrontation among ourselves.
A nossa memória coletiva repousa nesta dimensão histórica e tradição da nossa luta contra a colonização e contra a discriminação racial.
Our collective memory rests in this historical dimension and tradition of our struggle against colonization and racial discrimination.
Este monumento constitui igualmente uma merecida homenagem ao saudoso presidente Samora Machel.
This monument is also a deserved tribute to the late President Samora Machel.
Ele nos ensinou que a nossa independência nunca seria completa enquanto houvesse povos oprimidos na nossa região, particularmente o povo irmão da África do Sul.
He taught us that our independence would never be complete while there were oppressed peoples in our region, particularly the sister people of South Africa.
Com Samora Machel, desenvolvemos o internacionalismo militante que continua a orientar a nossa postura no conceito das nações, apostando no humanismo e na solidariedade internacional.
With Samora Machel, we developed militant internationalism, which continues to guide our posture in the concept of nations, where we focus on humanism and international solidarity.
Senhor Presidente, ilustres convidados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores.
Mr. President, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Passaram já 35 anos após a triste madrugada de 31 de janeiro, em que a população de Matola acordou sobressaltada por violentos estrondos de armas pesadas operadas a partir de meios militares aéreos por um grupo de comandos mercenários ao serviço do então governo sul-africano do apartheid.
After 35 years since that sad early morning of 30th January, when the people of Matola awoke frightened by violent blasts of heavy weapons, airborne in warplanes and fired by a squad of mercenary commandos at the service of the South African apartheid government.
Mais do que isso, este ato macabro tirou a vida a 17 combatentes pela liberdade de Encontro Asfice, braço armado do Congresso Nacional Africano, que tinha a cidade da Matola como sua retaguarda na luta contra o regime do apartheid, luta essa que também era a luta do povo moçambicano.
Moreover, this heinous act has claimed lives of 17 freedom fighters from Mkhonto Sizwe, the armed wing of the African National Congress, who had Matola seat as their rear guard in the struggle against the apartheid regime, which was also the struggle of the Mozambican people.
Com a sua ação, o regime do apartheid, para além de dizimar cidadãos indefesos, criando dor e luto, misturou o sangue dos povos moçambicanos e sul-africanos, fortalecendo a nossa determinação comum na luta pela paz, democracia e liberdade que hoje desfrutamos.
With this action, the apartheid regime, apart from decimating undefended citizens, inflicting pain and sorrow, they mixed the blood of the Mozambican and South African peoples and strengthened our common determination in the fight for peace, democracy and freedom that we are enjoying today.
Nas mesmas circunstâncias, 5 moçambicanos e um cidadão português perderam igualmente a vida e muitos outros moçambicanos ficaram feridos, como documenta o Centro de Interpretação
I don't hear anything. I'm sorry. Is there what? Oh, yes. No, I'm actually way too far. Hold on. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you now. Here we go. All right, it's the forgotten Strumov coming around the right side. It goes through the middle. He comes around here. He streams through. He's here. He's right in the middle there. And it's a draw. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate that. This is going to be an absolutely amazing day. You need to make noise. Now, I mentioned a Springbok jersey competition. You know what? We have Supersport over here. And a tad later, they're going to put cameras on one of you. All you have to do when you see a camera facing you is just go mull, go boss. You have to go crazy. You literally have to go, ah! That's right. That's what I'm talking about for your chance to win. I just want to thank a couple of our sponsors before I get into my first prize giving. I hope you guys are ready for that. Big thank you to the likes of these sponsors. Saru, Home Ground Advantage. Get onto Twitter now and hashtag Home Ground Advantage. Also, Vodacom, thank you so much for your support, as well as SAB, ASICS, and of course, Supersport. Who knows, I may be a Supersport presenter by the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our sponsors! You have been waiting for this moment for a long time. I know that. I can feel that. I'm feeling Gies here. I'm feeling, hold on, there's Gies here as well. There's Gies. I'm feeling Gies. I'm feeling it. Yes. What is your name, sir?
Jonathan.
Hello, Jonathan. And you know what, you need to picture yourself at that moment where the Springboks are about to kick off. What would the booker then sound like to you?
Champions.
I want you to shout Booker. Jonathan, you can do that. Are you ready? Let's go. Booker! And he now has... Can we give this guy a prize, please? This guy has got so much enthusiasm, please. What do we have here? This is a supporter's jersey. And you should be wearing... actually, you know what? Take off your backpack, take off your t-shirt, and put this on right now. What is wrong with you? Come on. Since it's Buck Friday, you should be representing. Oh my word, he's got a six-pack. Oh my...
como meio educativo para as gerações presentes e futuras de Moçambique, da África do Sul e do mundo em geral.
We are confident that this interpreting center of Matola will be used as a medium of education for the present and future generations of Mozambique and South Africa and of the world at large.
A exposição dos conteúdos do monumento e os que estão no Centro de Interpretação de Matola ajudará a compreender e a divulgar as relações socioculturais e históricas entre os dois povos e países irmãos de Moçambique e da África do Sul.
The contents displayed in the monument and those in the Matola Interpreting Center will help in the understanding and dissemination of socio-cultural and historic relations between the sister countries and peoples of Mozambique and South Africa.
Minhas senhoras e meus senhores,
ladies and gentlemen,
a determinação do povo moçambicano foi sabiamente expressa pelo presidente Samora Machel por ocasião do funeral dos mártires do ataque de Matola de 31 de janeiro de 1981, quando publicamente preferiu as célebres palavras que venham.
The determination of the Mozambican people was wisely expressed by President Samora Machel at the funeral of the martyrs of the Matola raid of 30th January 1981, when publicly he delivered the renowned words, "They should come."
Estas palavras ficaram para a nossa história e permanecem nas nossas memórias e foram a forma ainda mais corajosa de dizer: a luta continua, independência ou morte, venceremos.
These words remain in our history and in our memories, and they were the most courageous way to say, a luta continua, the struggle continues, independence or death, we shall win.
Estas ações mostram que ontem vencemos o regime do apartheid porque estivemos unidos, estivemos juntos, determinados e tínhamos clareza dos nossos objetivos.
These actions show that yesterday we defeated the apartheid regime because we were united, together, determined, and we had clarity of our objectives.
Esta nossa afirmação foi defendida a 14 de fevereiro de 1982 pelo saudoso Oliver Tambo, então presidente do ANC, quando afirmou, e cito, a resposta de uma nação forjada nos fornos furiosos de duas guerras brutais, teve um impacto dinamizador em toda a África Austral e em todo o continente. Fim da citação.
And these words were repeated on the 14th February 1982 in a rally where President Oliver Tambo delivered a speech, and I would like to quote, "Your response, the response of a nation forged in the furious furnaces of two brutal wars, had a dynamizing impact throughout Southern Africa and throughout the continent." End of quote.
Queríamos a liberdade, queríamos o respeito pela dignidade humana e pelo bem-estar do nosso povo.
We wanted freedom, we wanted respect for human dignity and respect for freedom of our people.
Hoje, unidos, também podemos vencer o divisionismo, a pobreza que é o inimigo número 1 dos nossos povos.
Today, united, we can also defeat divisionism and poverty, the enemy number 1 of our peoples.
Queremos destacar o monumento de Mbuzini, que foi erguido em território sul-africano, em memória do saudoso presidente Samora Machel e membros da sua delegação.
We wish to underscore the Mbuzini monument, which was erected on the South African territory in memory of the late President Samora Moisés Machel and members of his delegation.
Com nostalgia, lembramos que o pai da nação moçambicana foi vítima de acidente de aviação ocorrido em 19 de outubro de 1986, quando regressava de uma missão de paz para a região na Zâmbia.
With nostalgia, we recall that the father of our nation was a victim of a plane crash, which occurred on 19th October 1986, when he was returning from a regional peace mission in Zambia.
A paz que ele queria para toda a África Austral, em primeiro plano, surgiu.
The peace he wanted for Southern Africa in the first place, indeed, we are enjoying.
Esta tragédia está indissociavelmente ligada à luta dos povos da África Austral contra o regime do apartheid da África do Sul.
This tragedy is indissolubly linked to the struggle of the people of Southern Africa against the apartheid regime in South Africa.
Esta história heroica estará indelevelmente registrada neste centro de interpretação do monumento.
This heroic history is indelibly recorded in this interpreting center of the monument.
Os monumentos de Matola e de Mbuzini assumem um significado especial porque se ligam historicamente e sintetizam os esforços dos nossos povos na luta pela liberdade e pela manutenção da paz na região da África Austral.
The monuments of Matola and Mbuzini assume a special significance because they are historically connected and they synthesize the efforts by our peoples in their struggle for freedom and peacekeeping in the Southern African region.
Por isso, é importante que os povos de Moçambique e da África do Sul, em particular a população da Matola, vejam este monumento como espaço de identidade coletiva e de eternização da memória coletiva dos povos moçambicanos e sul-africanos.
Therefore, it is important that the people of Mozambique and South Africa, and in particular the people of Matola, view this monument as a space for the collective identity and for eternalizing the collective memory of the people of Mozambique and South Africa.
Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, antes de terminar, permitam-me reiterar que Moçambique continuará a ser a pátria dos cidadãos sul-africanos como forma eterna de homenagear aos que, pela liberdade dos nossos povos, ofereceram suas vidas.
Before I conclude, let me reiterate that Mozambique will remain the motherland of South African citizens because we believe that the sacrifices endured by our brothers and sisters in the struggle for freedom will never be forgotten.
Hoje, a nossa região está cada vez mais comprometida com a construção da integração regional, em paz e estabilidade, condições fundamentais para o sucesso da estratégia da industrialização que recentemente aprovamos.
Today, our region is increasingly committed to building regional integration in peace and stability, fundamental prerequisites for the success of the regional industrialization strategy that we have recently approved.
E estes feitos que registramos nos remetem a uma grande reflexão sobre o que cada faz e como faz para que a paz prevaleça nos nossos países.
And these achievements that we have scored lead us to a fundamental reflection on what each one of us does and how we do it for peace to prevail in our countries.
Terminamos felicitando o povo sul-africano e ao presidente Zuma pelo fato de perpetuar o sacrifício consentido pelos heróis que hoje celebramos a sua determinação.
May I conclude by congratulating the South African people and President Zuma for perpetuating the sacrifice consented by the heroes we celebrate their determination today.
Felicitamos o povo moçambicano.
We congratulate the Mozambican people.
Esta é a lição presente e futura da história comum de povo irmão e de passado real que garantiu este presente que os povos moçambicanos e sul-africanos vivem.
This is a lesson for the present and future common history of our sister people, of a real past which has assured this present that the peoples of Mozambique and South Africa are experiencing.
E muito obrigado pela atenção.
And thank you very much for your attention.
Muito obrigado, Excelência.
Thank you, Excellency.
De seguida, e com elevada honra, convido Sua Excelência Jacob Zuma, Presidente da República da África do Sul, a proferir o seu discurso.
Following, it is my honor to invite His Excellency, President of the Republic of South Africa, Jacob Zuma.
Thank you, Directors of the program. Your Excellency, my dear comrade and brother, President Felipe Nyusi.
Sua Excelência, meu caro camarada e irmão, Presidente Jacinto Nyusi.
Honorable Ministers.
Distintos ministros.
From both sides, Mozambique and South Africa.
De ambos países, Moçambique e África do Sul.
And deputy ministers present here.
E os vice-ministros aqui presentes.
The governor of Maputo province.
O governador da província de Maputo.
Your Lordship, the mayor of Matola.
Sua Excelência, presidente do Conselho Municipal da cidade da Matola.
Family members of our heroes and heroines.
Familiares dos nossos heróis e heroínas.
Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners.
Vossas Excelências, embaixadores e altos comissários.
Distinguished guests, comrades and friends.
Distintos convidados, camaradas e amigos.
Brothers and sisters.
Irmãos e irmãs.
It is indeed an honor
and
my distinct privilege
e meu distinto privilégio
to be in your presence yet again my dear brother and comrade, President Nyusi.
Estar na sua presença uma vez mais, meu querido irmão e camarada, Presidente Nyusi.
We took a profound decision on the 20th May 2015
Tomamos uma decisão muito importante no dia 20 de maio de 2015,
during my state visit
durante a minha visita de Estado
to a beautiful country,
ao vosso lindo país,
that we would jointly commit to the timely unveiling of the Matola Raid Monument and Interpretive Center,
que conjuntamente iríamos comprometer-nos com a inauguração do monumento e centro de interpretação da Matola.
Your Excellency,
Sua Excelência,
I also wish to acknowledge that the opening of the Matola Raid Monument
gostaria de reconhecer que a inauguração do monumento da Matola
and Interpretive Center
e centro de interpretação
coincides with the 40th anniversary of Mozambique's independence,
coincide com o 40º aniversário da independência de Moçambique,
which is yet another symbolic layer to the strong foundation of our shared liberation struggle and our common destiny.
que é outro evento simbólico da forte ligação e base da nossa luta de libertação conjunta.
On this solemn occasion,
Nesta ocasião solene,
which is reflective of the deep historic ties
que
that bind our two countries,
é refletora das ligações históricas que juntam os nossos dois países
and the region,
e a região,
we pay homage to the fallen martyrs
prestamos homenagem aos mártires
of the Matola Raid of 1981,
do ataque à Matola em 1981,
as well as all the fallen men and women
assim como a todas as mulheres e homens
that fought courageously in the liberation struggle that defeated the apartheid system.
que lutaram corajosamente na luta que derrotou o sistema do apartheid.
The Matola Raid of 1981
O ataque à Matola em 1981
constituted part of the apartheid destabilization campaign against the countries and peoples of Southern Africa.
O ataque à Matola de 1981 constituiu parte da campanha de desestabilização do apartheid contra os países e povos que apoiavam a libertação da região austral,
who supported the South African liberation struggle led by the African National Congress.
e esta luta era liderada pelo Congresso Nacional Africano.
This attack demonstrated the callous and brutal nature of the racist apartheid regime,
Este ataque demonstrou a natureza brutal do regime racista do apartheid
and confirmed the correctness of the United Nations resolution to declare apartheid a crime against humanity.
e confirmou a asserção da decisão das Nações Unidas de declarar o apartheid como um crime contra a humanidade.
Similar raids as well as assassinations were conducted in Zimbabwe, Angola, Swaziland, Zambia, Botswana, Lesotho, and France, to mention but a few.
Ataques semelhantes, assim como assassinatos, foram conduzidos no Zimbábue, em Angola, na Suazilândia, na Zâmbia, no Lesoto, na França, para mencionar alguns países.
The apartheid regime did not destroy the spirit of our people.
O regime do apartheid não destruiu o espírito do nosso povo.
Instead, the brutal murder of our people firmed up the resolve of all who remained behind to pick up their spear and fight for the ideals that they believed in and were prepared to die for.
De contrário, o assassinato brutal do nosso povo confirmou a asserção de que aqueles que restaram deviam levantar as suas lanças e lutar pelos ideais que acreditavam e pelos quais estavam dispostos a morrer.
In honor and memory of those fallen heroes and heroines and their affected families, the South African and Mozambican governments initiated this project on the 27th and 28th February 2002.
Em honra e memória desses heróis e heroínas e as famílias que foram afetadas, os governos da África do Sul e de Moçambique iniciaram este projeto a 27 e 28 de fevereiro de 2002.
In order to mark the beginning of the construction phase of the project, the Departments of Arts and Culture to both countries organized the laying of a foundation stone ceremony on the 8th July 2011.
De forma a marcar o início da fase de construção deste projeto, os departamentos de arte e cultura de ambos os países organizaram a cerimônia de lançamento da primeira pedra a 8 de julho de 2011.
Today, we are all gathered to witness the unveiling of the Matola Raid Monument and the Interpretive Center dedicated to the memory of the struggles of liberation in our respective countries.
Hoje, estamos aqui juntos para testemunhar a inauguração do monumento e centro de interpretação da Matola, dedicado à memória das lutas de libertação de ambos os países.
This monument is a symbol of victory and sacrifice.
O presente monumento é um símbolo de vitória e sacrifício.
The opening of this monument stands as a witness of freedom, and it also stands as a testament to the resilience of our people in our both countries.
A abertura deste monumento representa testemunho da liberdade e também representa o testamento da resiliência dos povos de ambos os países.
This monument is our testimony to the world that we have conquered in trying times.
Este monumento é o nosso testemunho para o mundo de que nós saímos vitoriosos em tempos difíceis.
It is a reminder that we were once the victims of the evil apartheid system, colonialism, and brutally, but we are today witnesses of freedom.
É lembrete que todos fomos vítimas antes do sistema diabólico do apartheid e também do colonialismo e da brutalidade destes sistemas. Mas hoje estamos aqui como testemunhas da liberdade.
We are the generation that has a responsibility to be that voice that says, in the words of Nelson Mandela, "Never again shall it be that South Africa will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world."
Somos a geração responsável por ser a voz que, nas palavras de Nelson Mandela, diz nunca mais, que a África do Sul nunca mais passe pela opressão e sofra a indignidade de ser a escória do mundo.
In his 99 speech, President Mandela further said, and I quote, "We vowed then that we would never forget," unquote.
No seu discurso de 1999, o presidente Mandela prosseguiu a seguinte citação: "Nós juramos que nunca nos iríamos esquecer." Fim de citação.
Today, we redeem that pledge.
Hoje retomamos esse voto.
We install this monument so that we will not forget. Indeed, this monument forms part of our best efforts to preserve our heritage of struggle and ensure that our people do not experience the unfortunate loss of the memory of our glorious struggle.
Construímos este monumento para que não nos esquecêssemos. Este monumento é parte dos nossos melhores esforços para preservar o nosso patrimônio de luta e assegurar que os nossos povos nunca mais passem pela triste experiência de perda e pela luta.
We are reminded today that the South African and Mozambican people, led by the ANC and Frelimo, respectively, share historical ties born out of struggle against apartheid, colonialism, colonial rule, fascist regimes, and their surrogates.
Somos lembrados hoje que os povos da África do Sul e de Moçambique, liderados respectivamente pelo ANC e pela Frelimo, partilham ligações históricas que advêm da luta contra o apartheid, contra o colonialismo, os regimes fascistas e os seus aliados.
This monument is indeed symbolic of the triumph of the human spirit.
Este monumento é símbolo do triunfo do espírito humano.
It reminds us of innate capacity and inner strength of endure the most difficult of times. We remember the maneuvers of the enemy who sought to permanently crush our resistance on that fateful day in January 1981.
Este monumento recorda-nos da nossa capacidade inata e da nossa força interior para suportar os tempos mais difíceis. Recorda-nos ainda das manobras do inimigo que procurou esmagar permanentemente a nossa resiliência naquele fatídico dia em janeiro de 1981.
Contrary to the intentions of the apartheid regime, the blood of our freedom fighters that was shed here in Matola strengthened the alliance between the ANC and Frelimo, and also nourished the tree that bore the fruits of freedom for the South African people.
Ao contrário das intenções do regime do apartheid, o sangue dos nossos lutadores pela libertação, que foi aqui derramado na Matola, fortaleceu a aliança entre o ANC e a Frelimo e também nutriu a árvore que deu frutos da liberdade para o povo sul-africano.
Fate was to have it that this alliance or not of union between our movements and countries would be sealed by the blood of the most outstanding son of the Mozambican people, former President Samora Machel.
Quis o destino que esta aliança ou união entre os dois movimentos e os dois países fosse selada pelo sangue derramado do melhor filho do povo moçambicano, o antigo presidente Samora Machel.
We will always be grateful in our remembrance of the unwavering assistance we received from the people of Mozambique in general, and Frelimo in particular, when we were fighting for our liberation.
Seremos eternamente gratos pela assistência e ajuda que recebemos do povo de Moçambique em geral e da Frelimo em particular, quando lutávamos pela nossa libertação.
Frelimo always understood that the liberation of the Mozambican people was inextricably linked to that of the South African people.
A Frelimo sempre compreendeu que a libertação do povo moçambicano esteve intrinsecamente ligada à libertação do povo sul-africano.
Indeed, we have a shared history and a common destiny.
Temos sim uma história partilhada e destino comum.
I'm pleased that this place of commemoration will be able to teach and inform of this shared history to future generations. It is rich with cognitive information whilst displaying empathy with the victims.
Sinto-me grato de que este local de comemoração será capaz de informar esta história partilhada às gerações futuras. A sua rica e cognitiva vítimas.
The Information Center will make it possible for the coming generations to gain knowledge of who we are and where we come from.
O Centro de Informação tornará possível que as gerações vindouras tenham conhecimento de quem somos e de onde vimos.
My sincere hope is that as we unveil this splendid symbol of bravery today, the future generations of Mozambique and South Africa and the entire region should derive hope and inspiration by understanding what it means and what it meant to be truly free, and acquire the sense of duty to protect this freedom.
Espero sinceramente que a inauguração deste esplêndido símbolo de bravura hoje mostre às futuras gerações de Moçambique e da África do Sul, assim como a toda a região austral, e deles coloque esperança e inspiração para que entendam o que significa e o que significou ser verdadeiramente livre e adquirir o senso de dever de proteger esta liberdade.
Indeed, this monument remains of great importance as a uniting project between our two countries.
Este monumento detém uma elevada importância como projeto de unificação entre ambos os países.
It stands boldly as one of the symbols that epitomize the strong bonds of friendship between our two countries, which are already demonstrated in many diverse ways.
Eleva-se aqui como dos símbolos que significam e que demonstram os fortes laços de amizade entre os nossos países e que demonstra as diversas maneiras de cooperação.
It also symbolizes the principle of human solidarity upon which the alliance between the ANC and Frelimo and therefore between our two countries is based.
Simboliza ainda o princípio de solidariedade humana sobre os quais a aliança entre a ANC e a Frelimo estão baseadas.
As correctly remarked by the late former President Samora Machel, and I quote, "Solidarity is not charity, but mutual aid in pursuit of shared objectives," unquote.
Como sabiamente dito pelo antigo presidente Samora Machel, passo a citar: a solidariedade não é caridade, mas sim uma ajuda mútua na busca de objetivos comuns. Fim de citação.
We must therefore strengthen our ties and have fruitful engagements which will help us to continuously define these shared objectives which Samora Machel referred to.
Devemos, então, fortalecer os nossos laços e termos compromissos frutíferos para que nos possa ajudar a definir continuamente estes objetivos comuns, os quais foram referidos por Samora Machel.
We must together grapple with strategic questions facing our people, such as unemployment, inequality, and poverty.
Devemos juntos levantar questões estratégicas que os nossos povos sofrem, tais como o desemprego, a desigualdade e a pobreza.
We must then work together as we confront these challenges.
Devemos trabalhar juntos para ultrapassar estes desafios.
Comrade President, we must do this ever conscious of the heavy responsibility we have to the people as the foremost leading movements in our respective countries and as governments of our respective countries in South Africa and Mozambique.
Camarada Presidente, devemos então estar conscientes das grandes responsabilidades que temos para com o nosso povo, como os movimentos pioneiros nos nossos respectivos países e também como governos dos nossos respectivos países, África do Sul e Moçambique.
In reflecting on this friendship, I would like to bring to memory the occasion where the former president of the African National Congress, President Oliver Tambo, at the burial of the Matola raid victims in 1981, while he was in the company of President Samora Machel.
Refletindo nesta amizade, gostaria de recordar a ocasião onde o antigo presidente do Congresso Nacional Africano, presidente funeral às vítimas do ataque da Matola em 1981, na presença do presidente Samora Machel.
He declared that 14 February would be, and I quote, "the day of friendship between South Africa and Mozambique," unquote.
Ele declarou, naquele dia 14 de fevereiro, e passo a citar, que este seria o dia da amizade entre a África do Sul e Moçambique. Fim de citação.
We, as South Africa, do not take this friendship lightly.
Nós, como a África do Sul, levamos muito a sério.
Comrade President Samora Machel paid the ultimate price for seeking the liberation
O camarada presidente Machel pagou por procurar a libertação dos seus irmãos e irmãs da região da África Austral, especialmente da África do Sul e Zimbábue.
Comrade President, these historic bonds of friendship have over the years translated into warm and cordial bilateral relations that were subsequently elevated to the Binational Commission to deepen the bilateral cooperation between our countries and peoples.
Camarada Presidente, estes laços históricos de amizade evoluíram ao longo dos anos para relações bilaterais cordiais e que subsequentemente evoluíram para a Comissão Binacional com o objetivo de fortificar a cooperação bilateral entre os nossos países e povos.
This momentous occasion is but a demonstration of our commitment, recommitting ourselves to each other as sovereign sister countries.
Esta ocasião solene representa a demonstração do nosso recometimento um para com o outro como países irmãos e soberanos.
As a member of SADC and on behalf of the government of South Africa, I would like to congratulate you yet again, Comrade President, on your election to the position of the chair of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security cooperation.
Como membro da SADC e em nome do governo da África do Sul, gostaria uma vez mais de parabenizá-lo, camarada presidente, pela sua nomeação à posição de presidente da SADC na questão de cooperação em política, defesa e segurança.
I would like to assure you of our support in pursuit of regional integration, peace, security and stability in the region.
Gostaria de assegurá-lo do nosso apoio na busca para a integração, paz, segurança e estabilidade da
towards the achievement of our continental aspirations and the attainment of the AU's Vision 2063.
Continuaremos a trabalhar juntos com vista à conquista das aspirações do nosso continente e com vista à visão de 2063.
Allow me, on this special occasion, to thank our comrade president, your government, and the people of Mozambique for your continued support and partnership in this project, without which this event would not have occurred.
Permita-me, nesta ocasião especial, agradecer-lhe, camarada presidente, ao seu governo e ao povo de Moçambique pelo vosso apoio contínuo e a vossa parceria neste projeto, sem os quais a realização deste evento não seria possível.
I would like to salute the people who sacrificed everything and left their families 34 years ago, looked repression and guns of slaughter in the face for the sake of freedom. The freedom fighters who made this ground historic when they put their lives on the line.
Gostaria de agradecer às pessoas que se sacrificaram e abandonaram tudo e as suas famílias há 34 anos e olharam para a repressão e para as armas de fogo de frente em nome da liberdade. Estes lutadores da liberdade que tornaram este chão histórico quando puseram as suas vidas em risco.
Directors of the program, allow me to break the protocol.
Organizadores do programa, permitam-me quebrar o protocolo
to mention the fact that many of MK veterans are with us here.
para mencionar o fato de muitos veteranos do MK estarem aqui conosco hoje.
We also have the Treasurer General of the ANC who is with us here today.
Temos ainda o general da ANC representado aqui hoje.
Among the veterans,
entre os veteranos,
one of them, of the survivors of the Matola raid,
dos sobreviventes do ataque a Matola,
is the one who called me on that fateful evening to a meeting. In the middle of the meeting, the time was 10 to 12.
Foi a pessoa que me ligou naquela noite fatídica para informar-me que tinham sido atacados. E a hora era 00:10.
Let me correct that.
Deixa-me corrigir.
The one I'm talking about phoned me at 2:20.
A pessoa de que estou a falar ligou-me às 2:20 da manhã.
The first one who called me, it was 10 to 12, was Khabudi, who is among those who are lying buried at the cemetery we visited today, who was formerly and fondly called Obadi.
A primeira pessoa que me ligou, às 10:30, que era conhecido como Obadi, está agora entre as outras vítimas daquela noite no cemitério.
He reported that there was a movement of the trucks soldiers, which they thought were Frelimo soldiers, and they were not sure why they were making the very funny movement on that day.
Ele relatou que havia movimento estranho de militares, os quais acreditavam sendo militares da Frelimo, e não entendia por que estavam a fazer aqueles movimentos naquele dia.
Because I was in a meeting with the comrades who had come from Swaziland who had to leave that very evening, I then referred him to the comrades who were looking after our security here. One of them is also here, Williams.
Porque eu estava a receber os camaradas da Suazilândia, estava numa reunião com eles, eles deveriam voltar no mesmo dia. Eu pedi que ele comunicasse o evento ao camarada Williams, que era o responsável pela nossa segurança aqui na Matola.
He phoned again at 10:12.
Ele voltou a ligar às 10:00
and said that these trucks are doing the movement which is not very usual, and he has not succeeded to find either Willie or Peter Buroko.
Ele disse que aqueles tanques estavam a fazer movimentos estranhos e ele não tinha conseguido ligar para nenhum dos dois camaradas, nem William, nem Peter.
Then we finished the meeting after 1, and I was tired, and I said to one of our comrades, I must take my car to deliver others. I went to a bath, and I wanted to sleep very nicely. But before I could close my eyes at 2:20, this comrade who's here, who is a survivor, called me. They have been attacked in the Sakto house, and he was phoning from the house of the Cuban comrades.
A nossa reunião apenas terminou à 1:00 e àquela hora já estava cansado. Pedi a dos camaradas que levasse o camaradas e dirigi-me a casa para poder descansar. Mas antes que pudesse fechar os olhos, recebi a chamada às 2h20 da manhã do camarada sobrevivente que se encontra aqui conosco a informar que ele estava na casa dos camaradas cubanos e eles tinham sido atacados.
I regretted why I gave the car to another comrade, because I wanted to get into the car and drive to Matola.
Lamentei o fato de ter entregue o carro a outro camarada, porque naquele momento queria levar o carro e vir a Matola.
I then phoned Comrade Ruben, who is late now, who was working with us of Mozambique, who picked up the phone, and I said, "Can you borrow me a car? The comrades are being attacked in Matola." He said, "No, my car." He knew if I go there, I will find the attackers still there, and I might be in danger.
Naquele momento, liguei para o camarada Ruben, que agora já falecido, para pedir carro emprestado, mas ele não atendeu o telefone. Então liguei para o camarada Alfredo e pedi-lhe que me emprestasse o carro para que eu viesse aqui a Matola socorrer os outros camaradas. No entanto, o camarada Alfredo informou-me que ele não tinha o carro porque tinha emprestado a alguns primos seus. E era esse o carro que estava a prestar a minha segurança, porque ele sabia naquela manhã que se eu viesse a Matola sozinho, estaria em perigo.
So I was helpless. I couldn't come to help my comrades. But at about 4:20 in the morning, a bell rang and important comrades, who was a commander, who brought a survivor from the house other side of the road, who survived because when the attack took place, he was in the toilet outside. He sat and never moved. And when that toilet was hit, it fell on him and hit him.
Nessa manhã, às 4h20, tocou a campainha e recebi um camarada que trazia um sobrevivente. Encontrava-me nessa altura desalentado pela perda dos nossos camaradas aqui na Matola. Esse camarada sobrevivente informou-me que ele encontrava-se na casa do outro lado da rua e tinha escapado ao ataque porque estava na casa de banho de fora, e quando a casa foi atacada, a casa de banho caiu sobre ele e abrigou-o.
When we came in the morning, in the house where Khabudi or Badi was, we met a comrade who was, at the time of the attack of the house, was at the last point of the house, a little bit of an upset. Battle of St. Peter's now. It used to be Leningrad in the past. He was reading the book of the battle of that place, and he heard that people were coming in. As they were coming up, he took his own, which he was having as a security, a little famous rifle called the Papchak, and he retaliated, which led to us in the morning finding a body of a soldier, South African soldier, with a lot of injections. They could have taken him. He fell on the other side of an old car, so they couldn't see him. And the story was as grave as you hear it.
Nessa manhã, quando o camarada Obade finalmente chegou ao nosso encontro, nós dirigimos-nos a outra casa, onde encontramos um camarada que, na altura dos ataques, encontrava-se no andar de cima a ler um livro intitulado A Batalha de Leningrado, que agora é a Batalha de São Pedro. E ele, nesse momento do ataque, conseguiu pegar em uma arma sua e retaliar o ataque. A razão pela qual, de manhã, encontramos um corpo de um dos atacantes que tinha sido morto por este camarada. E este camarada escapou com a sua vida porque no momento do ataque conseguiu esconder-se por detrás de um carro. Então os atacantes não conseguiram atingi-lo. E a história, meus irmãos, é tão grave quanto ouvem.
Without taking much of your time, as I ask to break protocol, allow me to thank the Mozambican people, the leadership, Frelimo, in my own way.
Sem mais delongas, desculpe-me uma vez mais por quebrar o protocolo, permita-me que, do meu modo, agradeça ao governo da Frelimo pela sua ajuda.
Kani mambo Frelimo, 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 kani mambo Itahlula Mzambiki, 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 kani mambo Mzambiki, kani mambo Mzambiki, kani mambo Mzambiki, kani mambo Mzambiki, kani mambo. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado, Excelência.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
And that was South African President Jacob Zuma, breaking out in song just after his keynote address at the Matola, of course, monument just outside of Maputo, where back in 1981, 13 South Africans, who were mostly ANC cadres, were killed by South African troops. Of course, Jacob Zuma, our President of the Republic of South Africa, joined his Mozambican counterpart, Felipe Nyusi, of course, to lay wreaths on the graves of 13 South Africans who were killed just outside of Matola in Maputo. But, of course, we'll be giving you headlines and more updates around that. If you just missed it, we'll be giving you, of course, updates surrounding, when he just narrated some of the incidents and events that occurred leading up to the killing of the 13 South Africans right here on SABC News. But for now, though, let's take a look at your headlines. Well, welcome to PM News. As mentioned before, President Jacob Zuma and his Mozambican counterpart, Felipe Nyusi, have laid wreaths on the graves of 13 former ANC cadres killed during the Matola raid back in 1981 by South African troops. The marathon wage negotiations in the gold mining sector will resume on Monday. And in your sports news, well, thousands of rugby fans are expected to bid farewell. They depart for the 2015 Rugby World Cup held in England. A very good afternoon to you. My name is Tumelo Mototwane. Well, President Jacob Zuma and his Mozambican counterpart, Felipe Nyusi, have laid a wreath on the grave of 13 South African nationals killed in Matola, just outside of Maputo. The 13 were former ANC cadres killed during the Matola 1981 by the South African troop. Now, the two presidents earlier had a behind-closed-door meeting before unveiling the Matola monument.
Mas como nós já sabemos que querem algo conosco, venham, venham.
On the back, hitch, give it to you, Sang that. Boss. Clap your hands. Sound funky. Come on, to the right. Woo.